Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my channel. With all the craziness going on, I just want to share my insight on the Keefe D Tupac murder trial that's going on. I titled this video Keefe D Walks because I believe Keefe D will walk. They're not going to convict an innocent man. Let me tell you why I feel he's innocent. First off, I feel he's innocent because if it was just a simple gang member shot and killed Tupac, I think the Las Vegas Police Department would have come down heavy, issue warrants on these police officers, on these gang members, and arrested them. Now everybody know in regular hood stuff, when it's anything to do with anybody doing something, the police go out there and get warrants. There's judges that'll sign a warrant in the middle of the night because you stole a Snicker bar. They'll kick your door in looking for the damn candy bar, the evidence. So it would be nothing for a gang unit in LA or sent from Vegas to get a warrant to search gang members' houses for evidence or anything. So I don't believe that in the first. If it was so easy to have been gang members, they'd have all been arrested. I feel also that Vegas PD just wanted it to go away. Like, oh crap, this happened in our city. Famous person, celebrity murdered in our city. Let's just let this go away. We don't want to talk about it. And they have. They put it in the file, it away in the cabinet. If you watch all the movies on the subject, all the police were sitting back and they were saying nobody wanted to cooperate. They've solved many more crimes with less eyewitnesses and information than what they got with this. You got so many people talking, so many people spreading false information. So you got the truth weaved into a bunch of lies, 30 years of lies. You always, anything like this, you always have to go back to the first information that was released, which is going to be the truth, not anything that come after. Another reference for why he's not guilty would be the Kathy Scott book. She wrote a book, I think it came out 97, 98, somewhere back then. I have it, but I can't find it. But she wrote her book with the autopsy photos. Get that book. She, in her interview in one of those early documentaries, she questioned, why did Suge take the route he took? She questions why stuff was done. You have to start from the fact. They were killed. He was shot at Flamingo and Koval. Anybody who's been to Vegas, who's a Tupac fan like myself, probably went and take a look at the site just to see. It's curiosity, right? So Koval is kind of a crap road, like a service road. It runs behind the casinos on the east side of the strip. So it's kind of a service road type road. It's not a main road. It is a main road, but it's not a main attraction road. Put it like that. So start with the thing. He was shot at that intersection. Okay, where is he coming from? Okay, he originated from supposedly Suge's house. Suge's house is south of the strip. So when they left the Lexor, which is on the west side, they would have went due south down Las Vegas Boulevard, hit Sunset, and went east on Sunset. Suge's house was somewhere down that way. They had to take Vegas Boulevard to Sunset, Sunset East. That's heading to Suge's house. They supposedly got to Suge's house, changed clothes, or whatever they done at Suge's house, and they left. From Suge's house back to 662, they could have took a less traffic, quicker route down, I don't know what street that is. I want to say it's, looking at these map here, I want to say maybe Pecos or something like that he could have took. But there's several back roads he could have took that runs due north he could have taken and taken back up to 662, not go back Sunset to the Vegas Boulevard and go back in the heavy traffic, which every corner is a red light, probably slow moving. It was a fight night, Friday night, so jam packed with tourists, visitors, fight people, madhouse. Vegas is packed. Anyone's been there when there's a main event going on, every corner has a red light, and there's even red lights for the parking garages to some of the casinos down that way. So going that way is just a time-killing, time-consuming route. Okay, so if the assailant drove up in a Cadillac and pulled alongside another row of cars in traffic, obviously that car had to be staged and following them already in traffic. Will we see video of certain points of the BMW traveling down Vegas Boulevard? We don't know. We don't know what they have. Then, you're looking at your suspects. Okay, let's say it's Keefe D. He wrote a book. Anybody write a book. You take Keefe D's name out the book, put your name there. With all the information's come out, and the time he wrote the book, 2019? I think the book came out. I'm not sure. Because I don't have the book. I'm never buying that book. But it's fiction. It's a work of fiction. But all the information came out, and he's friends with Reggie White Jr. Supposedly Reggie White Jr.'s wife dated Keefe D years ago, which makes them know each other. Reggie is, I believe, now a Crip gang member. I'm not sure. I don't know. Allegedly he is. I don't know. I'm not in that gang world. But it shows familiarity. She knows Keefe. She can get in touch with him. A plot's in motion. Here's some money. For money, Keefe D seems he'll do it. Because he's saying now he wrote the book for money. With all the information, you insert any name into that book and say they did it. What the prosecutor has to prove, Keefe D was in the car that everyone eyewitness says did the shooting. For what they say, it was a rental Cadillac. According to Vegas PD, we've never heard they've even located the car. If they know where it come from, would be fairly easy, because I don't think Compton Crips would drive to Idaho and rent a white Cadillac and bring it to Vegas. It's going to be rented from the local area from where they live at or the airport. Been fairly easy to find a Cadillac, especially if it's a rental. Who's renting white Cadillacs 1996? Would have been brand new, or a 95. When those Cadillac North Stars came out, they were hot. They were all eyes on those cars. Those were the cars to get. So anybody could have rented one. Then you have to look at, do they have the car? Was there fingerprints taken from the car? Is there pictures of them sitting in the car where he's saying they sitting at? That's why his case is, they can't place me in the car. No fingerprints, no gun, no evidence that I did the shooting. I can say what I want. He can, for the next 50 years, he can say he did it. You can say you did it. They have to prove you did it. They can't just say, oh, he confessed. Well, if you confess to something, details they leave out, and they leave you to fill that in. They say, okay, well, ask you a specific question about something, and you answer it. Say, oh, yeah, I did it with this. And you look at each other and they say, well, yeah, he did it because no one else knows that piece of evidence. We never released it. With all the evidence out there, it's just an arm come out the window and shot Tupac. My thing is, I'm looking at this video getting long, but they have to establish that Keefe D did it. I'm looking at my notes here. And my key point, never has there been an eyewitness that's ever said that they remember seeing a white Cadillac U-turn from westbound Flamingo into eastbound Flamingo and bull their way through the cars A line of traffic cars waiting on this Koval light that holds up traffic and back you back up to Las Vegas Boulevard, especially on the busy Friday night. Nobody ever eyewitness ever said that they remember a white Cadillac U-turning and pushing through traffic to like, hey, we see him, let's get through traffic. Frank said Tupac was leaning forward, talking over Suge to girls in the next car, which would be to Tupac's left. Shooter came up on the right-hand side, so Tupac kind of never really saw it coming. He didn't say Tupac was sticking out the sunroof, wheeling and flailing around like a goddamn superstar, and Tupac wouldn't do that on the strip. He's sitting in the car with Suge, stuff's going on. He's not going to be hanging out the car, making in slow-moving traffic. So that was a lie right there. Then, coming from 662 going back to the strip, how would he spot them? It's a car. It ain't an SUV. It's not. It's black. The Lexus that Frank was in was black. How would he know which car they're in? And if you remember, when you read the police reports, there was a Chevy or some kind of Astro van, work van, first at the light. Then I guess this guy they called K-Dove, then Suge. So Suge's like third to fourth car from the red light. So he was in traffic. He was hidden in traffic. So it's been very hard to spot. So it's a lie that he ever U-turned. That's the clear thing. That's why they never arrested him, because it's a lie. But if he wants to keep saying it, make the department look bad, we're going to arrest him and throw him. Make his puzzle fit into the case that, yeah, he did it. And that's what they're doing. Wasting taxpayer money, wasting our time, getting us to watch this shit and tune in. I'm not going to tune into this stuff unless it's some jaw-dropping information that comes out. It's not nothing to tune into, nothing you ain't heard before. Club 662. You guys remember, look at the facts. Where they were shot at first. Where they were coming from. Where they were going. Who is the one that said the South Side was the suspects? Reggie Wright Jr., whose wife is a Crip, supposedly, I don't know, allegedly, I don't know, and dated the guy that they're saying is in a car, one of the main shooters or main shot callers of the gang. His wife is who dated him years ago. Now, I know people break up and they never talk to each other again, but it's still a connection there. He can be trusted with doing certain things. So, Reggie Wright Jr., who was at 662, never went to the hospital, proving that he never went to the hospital. But supposedly, Suge told him Southside did it. Reggie Wright Jr. called his dad in Compton and told his dad Southside did it. So the dad could have, allegedly maybe, picked up the phone, start calling all the department snitches, put the word out, whatever, so they have a gang war and give LAPD a reason to search gang members' houses, which they did. Shooting happened. Retaliation shootings they claim was starting to happen, and they raided a bunch of people's houses. They was just looking for evidence to take a bunch of black people off the street like they always do. So they're trying to use that as another ruse as to who did it. I believe it wasn't Keefe D and those. I believe myself, I'm the conspiracy theorist that think it was a car full of cops. One or two, expert driver, sharpshooter, and whoever else. Because they don't even know if there's two people in the car or four. I've heard two, I've heard four. We don't know. The meeting at the lawyer's place to not have guns. Of course, any cop wouldn't want to be shot. So if Frank or anybody had a weapon on them and returned fire to get them off of Tupac and Suge, they have to go to the hospital possibly with a gunshot wound and explain why they're shot. Then when the ballistics come back, Frank is saying, yeah, I shot back at the assailants, and these four people show up at a hospital shot. They got to explain that. So that was the reason why they would want to make sure nobody had weapons. Who was in charge of making sure nobody had weapons? Frank. Here, let's go to this meeting. Y'all don't have no weapons on y'all. So the plan was already in place. It was already done. I believe Reggie White, who also involved himself in the grand jury in this case, is the main player in this assassination. I think it was the record label. Yes, I believe it was the record label because of the financial situation the record label was in. We all like to give them credit as to say, oh, they were on top. Tupac made them on top. Before the All Eyes on Me, what did they have? 1992, The Chronic, The Dog Pound, and Snoop Dogg's debut, which came out in 93. You're talking about 3 years later from that. It's 96. They don't have anything going. We've never heard the original Danny Boy album till years later. Jewel never released her album. Danny Boy, Jewel, and whoever else was on the label, Michelle, they never had albums come out. They ain't had the money to. They was too busy. Oh, we made it. It costs a lot of money to keep a good record label functioning. And as we know through the course of time, most of them collapse and fail because they don't have the succession of hits. You have to keep selling records to keep it going. And most of them flail out because they can't, it's hard to do. It's a very hard business to be successful in. Even the label Cash Money, they can run so long because you never seen a Cash Money Records offices. He doesn't keep no offices. It's a waste of money. His office is wherever he's at. No real offices to a Cash Money Records, and if there ever was, he's not never much in there. So it's very hard to keep a record label functioning. So, and then we hear how they were putting Nate Dogg's child support and all these other stuff they was charging back on Tupac's account. And Tupac was asking for accounting. They didn't want to give it to him. He was threatening to leave. He done All Eyes on Me. It was 2 albums. He had a 3-album deal. Machiavelli was album 3. It was already done. They just needed to do song selection and release it. It's already in the vault. Already done. Plus all the other songs he had were unreleased. He had years of releases to do. He could drop songs in movies and whatever else and just kept it going. The problem with the plan, it worked perfectly up to the point Suge couldn't help himself and he kicked Orlando Anderson, who looked like they had him standing out there just to stand out there. What Trey D or whatever whispered in his ear, we'll never know. But it set him off to immediately go and confront Orlando. What that was, who knows? Tupac was on probation. Obviously, he threw all that out the window for whatever Trey D supposedly told him. We don't know. We'll never know that. But something set him off, and he immediately went to attack Orlando Anderson. For that, we'll never know because we never got the answer why. Only Suge and everybody else who around him that night will know. And looks like they'll never tell you what all that was about, what was said, and all the other commotions going on. Because I believe with Frank, it was Frank and Gaddafi, Edie behind Gaddafi, and then I think it was Castro behind Frank and Alexis. Don't know what their conversations were. But that's my 2 cents. I think it was the record label because Death Row Records was having financial troubles. It just was hidden. It wasn't spoken on. Because they had so much success from 92 and 93. And then the Dog Pound, I guess, did okay. I don't know if their record sales, I think they sold 2 million, not sure. But the superstar was Tupac. Because the Dogfather, Snoop's second album, didn't come out till November of 96. And it didn't do good. I think it probably sold 2 mil over time, but I mean, it wasn't. Why would you not listen to Machiavelli? You were still listening to All Eyes on Me when he was shot and then he got killed. When he was shot, everybody listened to All Eyes on Me songs. Then he dies, they still listening to that. Then Machiavelli comes out, you listen to that. You didn't listen to no Dogfather. And then in December, all the unreleased trash mixes, songs can start coming out. Yeah, Machiavelli 7, 5, 4, all the different Machiavelli albums. People were downloading off the internet and selling for $20, $30. It just was a mess. There was no reason to buy Dogfather. And that's what probably had Snoop Dogg pissed at Suge. Because I remember they always say he didn't make any money off the first album because allegedly he used his monies to buy a lawyer for his murder case, which he beat. So he needed Dogfather to be successful. And I don't think it was as successful as he wanted it to be. And that's why he's probably inherently mad at Suge, because Suge had this plot, and he figured it out that because now he owns Death Row, he can see where the financials are, and he see how much money is going where. There's no way the dude could have kept this afloat without Tupac. That's why he charged everything on Tupac's account. Tupac found out about shit ain't right. Let me see accounting. They didn't want to give him his accounting of his monies coming in or owed to him, his chargebacks. He didn't know what was going where. That's why he was leaving. Then there was all the fuckery going on in the studio, trying to record and get business done there, and they're playing around, fighting and having guys beat up. Yeah, it's all fun and exciting, but when it's time to handle business, it's time to handle business. So the record label needs to be looked at. Reggie Wright, being a failed cop and failed security now, needs to be really looked at. But we'll never know the truth, guys. It's gonna never. The truth of what happened is never going to come out. But you have to remember, to me, it looked like the record label did it. They was in financial troubles because there was no artist selling records. And they went a couple of years without a lot of records being sold in the good numbers to really generate revenue. So when Pac came along, the excitement was there to go, oh, Tupac. Immediately, his album had buzz. Snoop Dogg didn't. News everywhere. Tupac's released from jail. What's he gonna say? East Coast, West Coast. All right. So then, you going back to today's time. Suge won't testify. He won't testify against an innocent man. He can't. And then the sharpshooter was so accurate in hitting Tupac. Suge 6'3", 400 pounds. Who knows? Wasn't scratch. One bullet hit the windshield on the passenger side, and a piece of glass ricocheted off the crown of Suge's head. And that's the only cut he got. This is a targeted hit by a sharpshooter. Frank, one of his interviews, he said that was a planned hit. Look at the trajectory of the bullets on the windshield. Let me see if you guys can see this. I'll pull this picture up. Do you see that? This is a tight group of bullets, and after you get your intended target, you spread them out a little bit. See, one's on the windshield, one's on the high side of the door as the car was pulling off, and then there's two in the back door. This is just to throw it off, but this is a targeted hit. That's a close group of shots. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guarantee those are the 4 shots that pierced his chest, and that's the reason why he's not there. Because also, remember, one of the bullets blew off one of his fingers, because he must have put his hand out, oh shit, and did that, and blew off his finger, and another one went inside his chest on the left side and tore up his lung on the right side, I believe. The right lung was the one that was torn up. But yeah, that's a targeted hit all day. Then go back to the last picture ever of Tupac alive, sitting in that car. What's the picture? Suge holding a red rag. The window is down. Kathy Scott, in her interview, said it was a hot night that night. Everyone's Tupac changed into a basketball jersey because it was hot that night. Didn't want to wear his vest. It was hot. Why the window down? It's a brand new BMW, and they had the window down. You know why that window was down? Because anybody's been to the strip at night with a rental car like I have been, and you had the glass up, you can't really see because there's a lot of lights flashing and non-flashing lights everywhere. You can't see. So you tend to roll the window down so you can see clear. Suge's window was down, and that picture was taken, I believe, at the corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Flamingo. Clear picture of Tupac sitting in the car, windows down. So the AC's blasting probably, and the windows down. It's freaking pissy hot. Why the hell you in a new car with the windows down? Well, if you're going to have a sharpshooter come, he needs a clear shot. He's not going to be able to hit his intended target with the window up because of the glare. Anybody who recently see this video and you've been to Vegas at night with a rental car, looking out the damn clear glass, driving down the strip, is hard to see. It's a lot of light, a lot of glare. Shooter would have needed a clear shot to see him. From how close the Cadillac was, he wasn't going to miss. And that was all on purpose. He had to be following the entourage. Probably there's plenty of places to duck off. When you're coming from Sunset and Las Vegas Boulevard up north to Flamingo, he could have been anywhere. There's a lot of parking lots on that northbound side. Old hotels and stuff. He could have been parked in and wait in line and wait. Then when the entourage passes, get in line. Not too far back, maybe 2 cars back from Frank, who knows. So when it comes to when he got to Koval, it's clear right there. The Cadillac can pull off into the turning lane and get up alongside the BMW, execute their man, and hit Koval and disappear into the night because Las Vegas PD was on bicycles and couldn't chase the goddamn RC car on the damn bicycle at night at that time. So disappears into the night, never to be seen and heard from again. Ain't no gang member getting away with anything with a rental Cadillac that they could easily trace back to the surrounding area. Ain't like it came from Missouri or somewhere like that and they rented it from there. It's rented from LA area, probably the airport or somewhere. So remember that. And let's see what else I got here on my notes. Yeah, the route Suge took. He could have took a different route, but no, he went back on the strip. They used the cover of traffic and the glare from the flashing lights of the strip area. So when the car rolled past, that's why no one got a good look at the driver or the shooter, is because of the glare. They had glare. I'm sure the Lexus windows was up. Probably had tint. I don't know. But they couldn't see clearly because of the glare. So that's why when they rolled up, and until they rolled up, then they roll the windows down. Also, if you have to think about what Keefe D is saying, he's saying they U-turned in front of an entourage of Mob Pirus, and the Mob Pirus didn't recognize their enemy with clear glass right in front of them, bullying their way through to U-turn. They didn't see that. Never happened. So, he was killed. He probably was fight night 10 to 15 minutes away from Club 662. Never made it. And you know, with the facts of Death Row Records financially, it seemed impossible. It's not far-fetched to believe that could have been the case. The record label did it. They had his vaults. Remember, they say he tried to go to the studio and get his masters. They wouldn't allow him to get his masters up out of there because he was leaving. He formed Euthanasia. He wasn't wearing the Death Row chain that night. He was wearing Euthanasia because he had his own company. He was getting off the ground. Frank was going to be his first security guard. I think him and another guy. And he was leaving. He was done. You know? And remember, they always say Tupac didn't want to go. Suge kind of persuaded him to go. He went. That's another reason. You know? So Tyson had just fought earlier that year. Nice. I think that year he fought twice that year. So Tupac like, I got something to take care of in Atlanta. No, come to the fight. And he went. He was working up to the day before the fight. I think his cousin, I think her name is Jamila, she said they were in the studio and they recorded, I think 2 or 3 songs that night. And then went home and then left for the fight Friday. So he's working, recording songs up until the day he died. So Thursday into Friday, he was recording songs. Went home, slept a little bit, shower, whatever, changed clothes, and they were heading to Vegas. And remember, he was at Vegas early. He was there early at Vegas. He went to gambling and stuff. So that's just my 2 cents. Guys, comment below. Let me see what you think. I may respond. I don't know. This is just what I put together. Take care.